Hello and welcome back to the workshop. Um, we're here on a warm August day. It's about 100 degrees, 38 degrees if you're not in the United States. Not too bad in the shop. It's the week after Monterey Car Week. So yeah, a week ago today I was at Laguna Seca, which was a lot of fun. Didn't take really any video of anything down there, but I did post a few pictures here and there. And we're standing next to a new project. Not what I was wanting or looking for, but it kind of landed in the story basically. It's an '87 325 convertible, 5-speed sports seats, Delphin gray, black interior, one owner, 78,000 miles. Odometer works. Two cracks in the dash, not terrible though. Paint is not so great on the hood, but everything else is really nice. Well, this area too. So the hood and the header here needs to be done. Top is really good. Rear window is kind of cloudy. Not as bad as it was. I put some stuff on it that seems to be helping, but it's also got a crack in it from the first time we put the top down. Um, so what happened? I have been kind of looking at cabs on Facebook Marketplace. Summer times here, and I haven't had an E30 in many long time. And I wasn't really looking for one though. And a friend called and said, "Hey, do you have any interest in a pretty solid, honest 325 cab that's cheap?" And I said, "No, I don't want a project." And so then here it is. So the story is one owner. I have a bunch of paperwork, including the original invoice bill of sale from Mountain View, Stevens Creek BMW, I think it was. So Bay Area Carl's Life. Lady bought it in the fall of '87. We have the original invoice. She paid 27,000 and something dollars for it in the day. She apparently died in 2018 or 19, and her son, of course, was then going to take on the car. Car sat in the garage till 2023. He decides, okay, I'm going to get this thing going. Has it towed out, brought to a local Union 76 gas station where they put a battery in it, a timing belt, water pump, hoses, thermostat, I think belts. Got it running, and he drove it home and put it back in the garage, and there it sat until a couple months ago. He brought it to a friend who does consignment work, sales, usually bring a trailer stuff. From the description, the guy thought, sounds like something up my alley, I could sell it for you. Then he saw the car and he's like, well, it's not really that nice. It's not that it's not nice, but it's not ready to go right now. So he's like, it's not a kind of car I would sell. Plus the title's missing, so there's a little bit of paperwork issue. Oh, there's a cobweb right there I stuck my hand in. But I know someone who might want it. So he contacts me, and I'm like, nah, I don't want a project. And then I'm talking to a different friend, and he's like, what would be fun is if we got like a convertible or something. And I'm like, I know of a car. So he talks to the guy, and then he contacts me and he's like, hey, why don't we go in on it? It's cheap enough. We'll split it. If we really fall for it, we'll keep it, and if we don't, we'll sell it. But we figure we'll kind of work on it over the fall and winter, and then kind of decide what we're going to do. So I'll bring you in a little bit closer. But initially, basically, I drove it home from Novato a couple weeks ago, the week before Car Week. Tires are flat spotted, so it's got a bit of a shake. Although they look really good, but they're also 14 years old, so they're going to need to go. But it drives really nicely. I mean, it feels tight. There's definitely cowl shake, but it feels tight for a cab. I believe the 78,000 miles on the odometer, I initially assumed it would have been broken, but it's working. And it drives and sounds really good. I thought I would just chance it and try to smog it. So last Monday, I took it to my smog guy, and we failed on the 25 mile an hour dyno by 6 parts per million on hydrocarbons. So maybe it wasn't hot enough. Maybe it was half a tank of old gas that didn't help. But at any rate, we got an air filter. Actually, I bought an air filter, but then I found an E30 air filter that's probably been sitting here for 8 or 9 years. Spark plugs, fresh oil and filter, kind of look things over, and then we're going to shoot for another smog on Monday, so a couple days from today. License plates expired in 2019. We'll chance it a little bit just to try to get it smogged and then get the DMV stuff done. We got an application for title and all that stuff. That should be okay. So we'll bring it in a little bit closer, just on the outset, looking at it. It looks like maybe the hood and front quarter has been repainted. And at that point, I think they kind of colored matched the trim, the surrounds on the bumpers, because those should be black rubber. Of course, when I first saw it, I say, hey, we should get metal Euro bumpers and do all that. But we're not sure if we're going to keep it. And if we're going to sell it, probably not worth putting that kind of money into it. But maybe, we'll see. But I'll bring you in closer. I've had the leather soaking with Leather Reek for multiple times for a few days because it was a little cardboardy, but it actually has softened up some. And then we'll kind of get into some maintenance. The one thing that always attracts me is when a car has its original plate. This is the original plate from '87, 2GXR. Bottle cap wheels, not my favorite, but they suit the car and they're fine. Interior is quite nice. Crack in the dash. See, I'm going to try it. I mean, there are some people that claim they could fix those, and since there's only 2, maybe we can get the dash fixed. I don't think you can buy new dashes anymore. Can't really see out the back window, but that is a zip-in window, so we should be able to just replace the window. But no holes or tears in the seats. Original, very honest car. I mean, totally original. Radio works, although the antenna does not. Gotta figure that out. Oh, it had the wrong trunk strut, so I disconnected it because it wasn't letting the trunk close properly. This side of the trunk over here was lifted, but it does have a full tool kit. Very nice. I got all the paperwork down there. My failed smog certificate right there. And down the other side, straight. This is an early car, so it's got a manual top, which is probably better. I have cleaned these and the cobwebs have come back, so there must be some spiders living in here somewhere. Or spider webs, I guess. Really what I want to do is start working on the engine swap for the wagon and getting the 500 SEL back on the road. This will be a short diversion though. So honest, dirty, aftermarket alarm, no key, no fobs for that, so that's a little worrisome. We'll probably take that out at some point. Some weird battery disconnect on the battery, which made me wonder if it had a drain, but it's been sitting here for, a week at a time without any issues starting back up. I'm gonna keep it cold so I can do plugs and everything right now. So we're gonna do a little maintenance and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, let's start with the air filter. I have no idea what this looks like. This could be our 6 parts per million, too rich hydrocarbon issue right here. Could be old oil. Could be oxygen sensor. Could be old spark plugs. Although there's some maintenance history, it's not a lot of recent maintenance history. There's a bunch of dealer stuff from the early days of the car, and then there's a receipt from the recent timing belt. So I don't know about all the basics, like the stuff that we're going to do here, how long ago any of that was done. Have not worked on an E30 in a long time either, so that's kind of fun to get back into something. Let's see. Like some oil in the intake boot here. Let's see, how does that come off? Where's my screwdriver? There it is. There we go. Undo the clip. Some wires out of the way. Air filter is out. See what this thing looks like. Let's see. Should have probably popped this open before trying to smog the car. Who knows what you might find in here. Although it does seem like the car was indoors. But it could still be like a mouse nest or something. Actually, that's not too bad looking. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Put a new one in since I got one. Plus this is Wix. So let's put in the dusty one that's been sitting on the shelf for years. Let's See if these look any different. Pretty similar, other than some color change. We'll save this for the next E30 that comes along in 10 years. Oops. Got a haircut today, in case you're wondering. In the rubber, these hoses are pretty hard, but they don't look like they're cracked or like there's anything leaking. So for now, we're just gonna kind of run with it. Let's make sure, like always, kind of hesitant to put too much money into the car until one, I know we could register it, and two, we get it through smog. The other nice thing is the guy who owns the car, or who kind of is in charge of the estate, I guess you should say, is out of the country, and basically says, you know what, get the registration taken care of, make sure you don't have any issues, and then assuming all goes well, you guys could pay me later. Okay, that's nice. So let's clean this connector here. There we go. But just in case all goes wrong, we still have an out. So, all right, air filter, let's tighten things up. So the air filter really wasn't bad, so I doubt that's doing anything. But good to know I've got a fresh one in there. All right, let's get over here to the spark plugs. All right, so on to the spark plugs here. This hose for the fuel pressure regulator has probably seen better days too. So the vacuum line, and if that doesn't have vacuum, it'll probably make us run rich. So let me see if I have any vacuum hose here or if I've brought it all back home. Bosch Super, old, kind of yellowish. It's got some deposits, but no oil or anything. Not terrible looking. And going in its place, our Bosch Silver. I'm worried about this battery thing that's right here. I don't want to ground out a positive terminal that's on the side here. Should have probably gotten rid of that first. AC doesn't work. That was what I was going to do actually, is hook up a vacuum pump and draw a vacuum and see if it holds. Do that in a minute. It's still R12, or it still has R12 fittings. So that would be nice to keep it R12 if possible. Similar. Old deposits, no oil. We'll speed through this because this is kind of monotonous. Cars always pass smog. Carfax is not very exciting. A couple of services and a bunch of smog checks, and it's always passed. And these things are usually not difficult to get through smog. Still has a factory cat on it. Very clean on the underside, no oil leaks. Transmission looks fine. I changed the trans oil the other day when I had the car at home and had it up in the air just because I had some and thought it wouldn't hurt things. Looks like it might have had a radiator replaced too. Yeah, 2007. But I'm not sure. I see one port here. I don't know if this is low or high pressure. I see another port that's down on the receiver dryer. Got to figure that out. Make sure I hook my AC stuff up correctly when we are ready to recharge this. I think it's called a battery buddy, and I think what it does, if it senses a drain, it disconnects the battery. So it's like an automatic sort of thing. And again, I have had this car sitting for a while, and we'll see if it starts today. It's been sitting here for about a week. Brought it back over here on the Monday, actually last Monday. So after it failed smog, parked it. Got some fresh oil and an oil filter for it. So the oil is about 2 years old. It's only got about 108, 200 and something miles on it now because I've put about 80 miles on the car altogether. And it had about 100 and something since, like 140 since it had been last changed. But it's also 1030, which is a little thin for these. I'm putting Liquimoly 1540 in, especially in the summertime. I think that's the better solution. A little green crustiness around the upper radiator neck. Let's see if there's some seepage. Ooh, this is very lean looking here. The plugs were old looking, so that should make a difference. I mean, the car didn't run bad, but a modern car with reasonably good ignition is going to run fine unless the plugs are just totally garbage. Okay, let's see if I've got some vacuum hose. A couple of plugs. Let's see if we can get these to focus here. Yeah. If you look from the side profile, I don't know if you could see that, how there's a lot of wear on that center electrode. These things were pretty old. So let's see how it starts. All right. Normal. Wouldn't be a bad idea to look at valve clearances too. Let it run for a minute. And then I was going to hook up the AC stuff and see about pulling a vacuum. All right, so the downside to R12 fittings is they're not quick release. So you screw them on and you screw them off, which means inevitably you will lose some of your charge, which is probably one of the reasons why they went to quick release when they went to R134. Also, so you could tell them apart, I guess. I have no idea if there's anything in this system or if it's holds air, vacuum, whatever. So we're gonna put the vacuum pump on it and see what happens. This doesn't really turn very well. It is pulling some vacuum. We're at about 20 inches right now. And still going. If I close the valves, it maintains it. Let's let this run for a few minutes, and then we'll just cap it off and see if it holds that vacuum for a bit. I got the car on ramps. I'm going to do the oil change there because sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth to move that with a big power steering leak. That doesn't have a battery in it. So put some fresh oil filter, and then this thing will hopefully be ready for a smog on. All right, fresh oil, fresh plugs, fresh air filter. Oil's pretty ugly looking for not a lot of mileage. Still holding vacuum, about 25 inches. Seems like our AC is intact. I don't know if you could hear the valve train. Got to check those valve clearance at some point soon. And replace some of this 40th week of 1986 fuel line. All right, so I could take this sticker showing when the next service is due. Actually, it's not coming off. 2018, it's due for an oil change. So, oil and filter, spark plugs, air filter, holds a vacuum on the AC. I did a little test with some stuff into the AC system, and maybe a Schrader valve's leaking. We'll see if it holds a little bit of a charge that I put in it. It's blowing coolish, just sitting here idling. And then let's hope for smog on Monday. Hopefully it passes. I only need 6 parts per million. So with what I've done, based on what those plugs look like, I should do it. And the oil was kind of thin. It kind of smelled like gas. So a little bit thicker. I used 1540. It had 1030 in it. A little thicker oil will probably help keep some oil from going past the rings. And then we can work on registration. So this is making some progress. Up next, I really want to get working on the 126. I've got a bunch of parts over here to put everything back to the way it was before I took all the parts off of that for the 500 SEC that I sold back in, I don't know, early part of this year. And we'll see if we can get that thing back on the road. And then we got the E55 wagon swap that's going to happen soon. I should start taking that car apart. This thing, you know, I don't know. It drives well. AC doesn't work, but like the whole climate control's dead on this. So this is going to be more of a project, probably diving into the dash if I end up going that far. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, share all that stuff. I've been stagnant at like 350 subscribers, although I really haven't been doing a whole lot of activity on here, so I understand that. But we'll see you back hopefully in another week or so with whatever comes up next. Thanks for watching.